In this last app, the first thing we're going to do is remix our key presses app. So you should have our last one where we had the keys working. You're going to press remix. And you're going to rename it collision. So we're going to have some sort of reason that we're moving this icon around, and it's basically to find something and collide with it or hit it. In general, like pick it up we would think of, but really we're going to be talking about making it go to that spot. So the first thing we're going to do is go to design. I'm going to set this to 20 and 20, so making it smaller. And then I'm going to get another image. I'm also going to set this one to 20 and 20. We're going to call this one diamond image. And we're going to choose, and there's a little diamond in here. So I forgot I can type in and just find it that way. So we just searched for diamond in the icons and we have that there. So going back to our code, basically this little guy is going to try to get to the diamond, and when he does, it's going to move the diamond to a new location on the screen. So I'm going to pull in two more variables. The diamond doesn't move other than setting a new random position. So I don't need velocity for that one. I just need X diamond and Y diamond. So now another thing which is similar to the automatic movement app, I'm going to send the diamond to a random location. So I'm going to create this function just where I have my functions. I'm going to put it right under here. I'm not going to worry about parameters here just because I think this will work better for this particular one. So I have diamond location, and I think I want to name it random diamond location. I just want to keep it the same. Random location diamond, I'm going to call this one. So I'm going to get a random number for the X value and Y value of the diamond, and I'm going to set the diamond to that location. So I have X diamond and Y diamond, and as I said, I'm not using parameters, so I'm just going to use those variables I already have. I am going to get my random number function. And another thing, for some reason, some of the blocks won't pull out, so we'll just type it. So random number, and I found 30 to 280 for X is good, and $50 to $350 is good for Y. So I think I just forgot a parentheses here, and that's why it's not switching over. So then I'm going to set the position. Of the diamond image to that location. So set position of diamond image to X diamond, Y diamond. And yes, I could just put the random number functions right here and here, but for me, I like it better with the variables because it's a little more clear to read. So I'm going to call that when I first run the app, I do want to set that to a random position. So I'm going to call random location diamond just when we run the app. So right now when I run it, okay, I spelled something wrong. So right now I have the diamond. We'll just show it one more time. It goes to a random position. That looks really similar. Okay, so that's a little more obvious. And then I'm going to move my cat image around to get to the diamond. Okay, I'm going to check out on line 7. or line 31 and just see, oh, somehow something got put in here. Oh, I dragged the random number into a different spot, so I need to change this to screen 1. So I can still move the cat as I did before. The diamond stays still. Now we want it so that when the cat gets to the diamond will move to a new location. So that's really our new part of this app, is setting up a function for collision. Now collision, and I'm actually going to go over here. We still have the other app running, is really going to be run by the distance formula with math. So we want to say when the distance between the two gets close enough, then I'm going to move the diamond to a new location. So I'm just going to Google distance formula. And here is my distance formula. It's the same one used in geometry. Basically, the difference between the x values squared plus the difference between the y values squared, and then we take the square root of all that. So I'm going to create a function for collision. And let's reset this. And I'm going to put it underneath my random location diamond function. Now I'm actually going to use parameters for this one. So here I'm going to call this just collision. And I'm going to use those values x1, x or y1. So like the points that are represented by each of the things I'm trying to collide, x2 and y2. Now it's not going to look as nice, but I'm going to create my distance function. And I'm only going to be using my distance function in this collision function. I won't need to use it outside, so I am going to make the variable local. Now, we're going to try to build this. Hopefully, it's going to let me drag out my math blocks. So we're going to start out with math.square root. Okay, in the wrong spot. Control Z, Control Z. I might just type this, but it is going to look a little better. I'm going to try it one more time to get it in the right spot. Okay. Math square root. And then we're going to take out math power. So we have the square root and we're going to want to square something. So math power, let's try to get that in the right spot. So what we're going to square is we're going to square x2 minus x1. And then in here, I put 2 because that's going to be squared. Okay, so we'll look at this whole thing in a little more depth. I'm going to change over because to the math power x2 minus x1 squared, I have to add the same thing. So we're going to do a little copy and paste with the y's. So y2 minus y1 squared. So what this is doing, the square root of the difference in the x's squared plus the difference in the y's squared, it's the same thing as this distance formula. So I'm going to go back over to blocks just so I can see it, make sure everything kind of looks good in terms of where the parentheses are. And then from there, I'm actually going to console log distance just so that we can make sure that that's working because that's a little complicated. And I'll get rid of my quotes. So right now, I did not call my collision function, so I can't see if it's working. So our collision, and nothing is happening with collision right now. I'm going to call down here. We're going to do it below the set position and collision. Now, the two things we're colliding are x cat, y cat, and x diamond, y diamond. Okay, so we're seeing how far apart they are right now. So right here, I see 92 is their distance. And as I move the cat closer, we can see it's down to 36 now. Okay, so we can see that we're getting closer. We're pretty close right now in terms of how far apart they are. So that looks like it's working right. So I'm going to go back up here. I'm going to get rid of the console log distance just so it's not too messy and it's not something extra to calculate. Now, I've played around with this. The distance being 0 means that the very top corner of the diamond and the very top corner of the cat have to be in exactly the same location because that's what we're measuring from. That's also part of the reason I made them small, is because otherwise, like, depending on which side of it you're on, the distance kind of acts differently. Whereas when they're small, that doesn't make as much of a difference. So I'm going to say if the distance is less than 15, then we're basically just going to send the diamond to a random location. So I'm not sure if we have done this before, but you can call functions inside of other functions. That's completely allowed. You can kind of embed anything and anything else as long as you follow rules of local and global variables, which don't really apply here. But you can embed things inside of each other in really any way that you want when you're coding. So from here, if I go over, we see the diamond, when I get close enough, moves to a random location. Now we're going to be building off of this and making kind of your own app with some conditions, but this is like our last part of movement for our games.